Hello everyone and welcome to part 3 of my Final Cut Pro X tutorial. In this episode we are going to talk about picture-in-picture and slowing down or retiming a video to add a slow motion effect to it. So let's start this off by showing off the picture-in-picture. What I'm going to do is select a basic clip that I have up here, drag it down onto my timeline, and from here I'm going to find the clip that I want to add for the picture-in-picture. This is fine right here. I'm just going to select a little bit of a smaller clip. That way it doesn't completely overlap my entire video. I'll drag it into the timeline above it. And as you can see, what happens when you drag a clip in above it is it will completely overlap your original video that's on the bottom. So in order to get past that and add the picture-in-picture effect onto it, we go up here and we select the transform effect tool. And once you do that, the little blue dots will appear around the frame of your video that you want to use the picture-in-picture for. So what we're going to do is select one of the corners, drag it down to the size of video that you want it to be, and you can do this with videos or photos. It works the same either way, and you can position it wherever you want to. So you can move it wherever onto your screen. So I'm going to move it into the right-hand corner. Left-hand corner. God, I'm failing right now. And from here, when you hit play, you'll notice that it will pop up in the corner, and both of the videos will be playing at the same time. In iMovie, you could only do picture-in-picture once, but in previous versions of Final Cut Pro, you could do as many as you want. So I'm just showing you how you can do that in Final Cut Pro X, because it is a little bit different. Another thing that you can do while you're still working with the picture-in-picture effect is adding in a keyframe. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select just a basic keyframe at the beginning, and then I'm going to make sure the video is selected to be there, and then by the end of the clip I want to add in some motion. So if you notice, after you have your original keyframe selected at the beginning of the clip and then you drag your video, you can actually drag it out of frame if you want to, but I'm going to leave it in frame in the bottom right hand corner, and you can actually adjust the starting point as well, but I am going to leave it like this, and let's see how this works. As you can see, when you hit the play button, your video will start out in the upper left-hand corner, and it will slowly fade downward into the right-hand corner. So I'm going to take this one step further, and we're going to take the starting location, or this arrow right here, and I'm going to drag it out of frame. So then when you hit done and you have your framing already selected, you can go back and watch your video, and your picture-in-picture will actually come from out of frame into frame, and that's a nice basic little transition you can use if you didn't want to do an opacity change, which is as easy as going down to your opacity in the inspector and lowering that down to 0 in the beginning and then keying it in to get brighter. So that is how you do picture-in-picture in Final Cut Pro X. And the other thing that we were going to go over is slow motion or retiming your clip. And you can do it in Final Cut Pro X with no problem at all. It's as simple as selecting the part of the clip that you want. So I'm just going to go into my blade tool and find a good point where you can actually see slow motion in effect, like this pillow falling and hitting the bed. So now that we have this selection cut out, we'll select it, go into the modify, and then we will go into retime. From here you can select slow down, speed it up, back to normal 100%, hold the frame, and several other different things. You also can set a speed ramp, so it will slowly speed up the clip from normal or go back down from a high speed to a certain speed. So I'm just going to go in here and we're going to select a 25%. I wouldn't want to go much further with the camera that I use to film this because it gets a little bit choppy, and if you are going to be filming something with the intent of slowing it down in a editing program, you want to make sure to be filming at the highest frames per second or shutter speed that your camera offers, because without that it gets really grainy and choppy when you try to slow your clip down. So let's see how this looks after I've slowed it down to 25%. As you can see, the pillow is taking a while to launch. Okay, here it goes. Okay, it doesn't look that bad. It gets a little bit blurry in the air, but that's pretty much only because of the camera that I use to film it with. If I use something like a Canon T3i or something like, or other digital SLR that recorded video, or like a real decent video camera that recorded a little bit faster, it probably wouldn't have got blurry. But since I used just a real basic camera, that's why it ended up looking like that. So now that all of you know how to slow down a clip and do picture-in-picture, I think it's time to go into the question part of this episode, and I'm going to go over some of the comments that people left on my videos. The Over-Editor asks, is Final Cut X required for motion to work? And the simple answer is no. You don't need Final Cut X for motion to work. However, it is definitely the preferred editing program to use with the exported motion files. Rob Locke's Vids R Us asks, would this be good if you're upgrading to this and Motion 5 from Final Cut Express 4? And I definitely have to say yes, that Final Cut Pro X, although lacking some of the features from Final Cut Pro 7, would definitely be an upgrade, and Motion 5 is an amazing program for an incredibly reasonable price. Luffy Gear 9000 asks, what kind of Mac are you running this on? Well, I'm running this on a 2011 MacBook Pro. It does not have the upgraded graphics card. I would recommend getting a model with the 1 gig graphics card in it, because this does sometimes struggle when you're working on some Motion 5 files. However, I really haven't run into too many other problems. And he also asks, are there ways to add audio filters like echo onto the audio clip that you're working with, like you could in iMovie? Well, I don't believe there are audio filters, but you could go into your audio settings and tweak them so that you would have an echo. Miles K. Johnson asks, what are you using to capture? And I am using QuickTime Player. It has a record feature built into it. I don't know if the PC version of it does, but if you are using a PC and you do want to do audio or screen capturing, Fraps is probably the best route to go, even though you will have to pay a little bit of money to buy it. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and if you have any questions you want to ask me, leave them in the comments section below, and I will try to answer them all as fast as I can in upcoming videos. And if you want to watch my videos right when they come out, please subscribe.